Let me now bring on board the management of Tech Mahindra to talk about the quarter gone by and the way forward. FY22 will be a very different year for all tech companies, largely because of the base effect and how the entire implementation of the digital platform and cloud implementation, which in a sense has really given a lot of order or a lot of visibility to some of the large cap IT companies. Milind Kulkarni and Mr. Gurnani, they both join us. Mr. Gurnani, good evening, or good morning rather, and thank you for joining us. Now, you've said that FY21 was a year of repair and FY22 will be growth. Can we expect double-digit growth in FY22?
I mean, if you recall, the statement was made previous year where our EBITDA had come down dramatically, our growth had stalled, and we had actually presented to our board a 3-year plan which said FY21 we will repair, and the main focus on repairs was to look at growth both in communication sector and in enterprise sector. B was to focus on operating matrix, and C was to drive much higher revenue in cloud and cyber security. I think overall the plan has worked well. You've seen the results. Despite of a bad start, we have been able to cover up and we have been able to grow quarter on quarter. It only shows that on EBITDA side, we have grown by almost 270 basis points. So I think the repair phase is now over. And the best way to look at data is that my previous 3 quarters, the TCV signing that we reported every quarter was about 400 to 450 million. This quarter, in quarter 4, we have signed $1 billion, and we do believe that next quarter also we will have a similar signing. So in general, we are now ready to accelerate, and that's what really we mean the rally phase.
Mr. Kulkarni, while the revenue growth has been subdued, it's a pleasant delight to see there has been margin expansion. Do you see margin expansion to continue? A, B, in the light of there is going to be a wage hike, where do you see the numbers would settle?
So margin levers in terms of, what we have utilized already, in terms of operational efficiency and transformation, we will continue to leverage those. And because the revenue is going to grow, there would be a growth leverage as well, because our SG&A will be spread over a larger base. So that's also going to add, that's also going to be one more leverage for us. So we are fairly confident that we will absorb the salary increases and continue to expand our margins.
Mr. Gurnani, at the press conference you mentioned the deal pipeline has in fact been the strongest ever. And, which verticals and geographies do you see that momentum really building in for Tech Mahindra?
I think we are seeing a growth uptick from Americas and Europe. And similarly, the growth uptake is coming in both from communication sector as well as the enterprise sector. And so when I look at our current open pipeline, it's been probably the best in the recent years.
I also wanted to ask you, Mr. Gurnani, of the impact of the second wave on clients, on demand, on the kind of outlook that people are now factoring in. Are you seeing slower 5G investments, for instance?
Personally, I think it is one of the most serious and tragic situations, particularly in India. Same time when we were discussing previous quarter, and now the shift has been very, very dramatic. Our absenteeism because of COVID reached a peak in Pune and Bombay at about 1.5%, but it has now reduced, the absenteeism has reduced to 1%. It only shows is that the COVID curve is now flattening, at least in Pune and Bombay. Right now, the growth is high in NCR. But the main point is that since we are based in so many major cities in India, and we have a global delivery model which has 4 centers in Philippines, which has 7 centers in Asia, which has 5 centers in North America, 4 centers in Europe. I think what I can only say is that the work from home and capability to be able to work, despite of some of the challenges, I think is where Tech Mahindra has built in an amount of resilience. But wave 2 is much, much more serious, and we are focusing almost half of our time, management time, on employee wellness.
Okay. Milind, if I could come to you as well. Now, you announced an acquisition of Eventus Solutions. Tell us about how that will be funded and whether or not we'll also see further acquisitions, how this fits into the overall strategy for you.
So, Eventus, as you know, we just announced today. So, you will see some impact of that in the coming 2 months of this quarter. All digital also, Digital on Us was announced few days back. So there will be some impact, some growth which will come from these two. But it's really a long-term growth strategy that we are looking at and not just a quarter.
Okay, attrition has also been rising across the industry. The quantum of salary hikes that you've undertaken so far. Share with us the kind of hikes planned for FY22, the kind of plans you have, both in terms of hiring as well as the kind of hikes that can be anticipated.
Probably we don't give hiring numbers because it's actually a proxy for kind of guidance. Okay. Sure. So, but yes, we have started hiring from March, and we will see. Having corrected worked on our operational efficiencies in the last year, we have started hiring from March, and that we would continue even going forward. So, we will be hiring freshers as well as there will be a lateral hiring as well.
Sure. At the press conference, Milind, you also mentioned on the dividend payout that it's been the highest ever at about 45 rupees a share. Any further payout plans for FY22?
So we have, our dividend policy is on the cash acquisition, cash that we generate. After retaining for the acquisition or for internal needs, we want to return to shareholders. And that's the reason why you see we have enhanced the dividend in the current year. So it's going to be with interim dividend already announced, 45 rupees per share, which is the highest ever Tech Mahindra has declared. And that kind of indicates our confidence of the future.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for sharing with us the growth outlook as well as the trajectory for Tech Mahindra going forward.